If you're in a band, congratulations. About 1% of the people in this world can say that. If you're in a successful band, that number is way lower. Some people don't care about success. Playing music is a hobby, and there's nothing wrong with that. But for those of us that have ambition and goals for our music, band life can be a grind. You book a show only to have a handful of people show up to see you. You spend months recording music only to have this evil graphic appear on your Spotify for years. Now, you can blame luck, algorithms, or society if you want, but the brutal truth is, you're probably just not doing it right. It's the 2020s, and there's very specific patterns in bands that are successful. And there's also patterns in bands that get stuck in their local scene forever. And if you focus on the right things, you'll have a much better chance at accomplishing the things that you want to achieve. Myself, I've been in the same band for 23 years. At our best, we were offered a European tour. And at our worst, let's just say there's been plenty of tough times. The point is, over the course of my career, I've learned a lot, both from my own band and the bands that I've worked with. And if you're sick of being stuck, if you're looking to break out of your local scene and achieve whatever level of success that you have in mind, then listen up. These are the 6 things that are holding your band back. Welcome back to the Riff Haven Audio Podcast. I'm Dan Ferguson, engineer, producer, and owner of Riff Haven Audio here in Long Island, New York. If you're new here, welcome. This is a channel that provides good, reliable information for bands that are looking to break out of their local scene and accomplish their goals. If your band is more than just a hobby, please subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss any content. I want to see your band win, and I'm here to help. And also, feel free to leave questions in the comments. I read them all. All right, let's get into this. Don't envy what people have. Emulate what they did to get it. Words to live by. Anytime you try something new, in the beginning, you're going to suck. And that's normal. But if you refuse to learn from people that have done it before, that's stupidity. Personally, I've taken on lots of challenges in my life. And for me, I hate when I'm not good at something. So I find somebody that's really good at that thing and ask what they did to get there. Then I do what they did until I don't suck anymore. I know how much of a grind it can be to be in a band. Some days you're high off the new song that you just wrote. And other days you're wondering why you're even doing this. There's times when it feels like it's just not going anywhere. Unfortunately, some bands just don't have it. But I've been to lots of local shows, and I've seen lots of bands that could go places, but don't. And it's usually because of the same common reasons. There's definitely more to this list, but for me, these are the 6 things that hold most bands back. Number 1, poor performances live. I saw an interview recently with a signed artist, and he was talking about how a lot of times when he sees a local band on stage, it's not a performance, it's a recital. There's way more to playing live than just playing your instrument. Think about the best concert you've ever been to. What made that show so great? It probably wasn't that the drummer didn't miss a single fill, or that the singer had perfect pitch. Of course, it's important to have chops and be able to play your instrument, but the job doesn't stop there. The best concert you've ever been to probably left you feeling a certain way, because of the energy exchanged between the band and the crowd. When your band is playing live, it should be a performance. Move around, bang your head, do a jump kick, do whatever comes naturally, but for the love of God, don't just stand there and stare at your fretboard. I've watched local bands and been blown away by their performance. But I've watched way more local bands that look like they don't even enjoy their own music. If you don't like it, why should the audience? And I get it. When there's only 33 people at the venue and 18 of them are the other bands and their girlfriends, it can be hard to get into it. But if you stay committed and perform for those people, they may come to your next show, or follow you on social media, or share your music with a friend. Every person matters. Stop the recitals and start performing. It'll only lead to good places. Number 2, same stage, different day. Of course, everybody has their favorite local venue, their home turf, so to speak. But if you exclusively play at the same venues with the same bands, how do you expect to get more fans? For hobbyist bands, this is fine. But if you want to gain more fans, which leads to more streams and leads to more people knowing who you are, you got to get out of your comfort zone. That means going to different cities and different states and playing in front of people that don't know who you are. But what if the show attendance is bad? Isn't that a lot of work for not a big payoff? Rewind back to number 1 and you tell me what you think the answer is. A great way to go about this is to reach out to other bands in your genre, in other cities and other states. Organize a weekend run of shows outside of your local scene. Then invite those bands to your home turf. everybody wins. Of course, this is a big commitment, time, money, and effort. But again, if you have goals for your band, this is a move you have to make. No one's ever gotten signed because a record executive happened to be having a beer at a dive bar and was blown away by the band that was on stage. I mean, maybe someone has, but I guarantee you that's the exception, not the rule. If a career in music is a goal of yours, one of the best ways to get the attention of the people that can make that happen for you is to get a lot of attention from the people that consume the type of music that they're in charge of. Not just in your town. I'm talking like in your region. If you want to break out of your local scene, every once in a while, you got to get out of your local scene. Number 3, deadbeat band members. Brutal honesty incoming. I totally get that when you start a band, it's probably with a bunch of your friends. Over time, people's priorities change, or maybe they just weren't that into it in the first place. If you ever expect to accomplish anything as a band, you better make sure that every member is rowing in the same direction. In lots of cases, some aren't rowing at all. When my band started, we didn't have a drummer, so we posted flyers around town. Yeah, I'm old. 2 people answered, so we hired the better of the 2. After a year or so, everybody was getting better at their instrument, but the drummer wasn't, and that became a big problem. I remember writing riffs and being like, damn, we can't use that. He can't play that fast. It handcuffed us, so we had to move on from him and replace him with somebody better. And for us, that was a game changer. I see this with lots of local bands. Bands with potential. It's like, this band is sick. If they just replaced their bassist, they'd be so much better. Yes, firing a bandmate could be very uncomfortable, but it's also uncomfortable rotting in your local scene because one band member refuses to get better at their instrument, or doesn't want to come to rehearsal, or spend money to upgrade their gear. They both suck, but you have to choose your suck. Number 4, lack of promotion. Guys, it's 2025. If you have goals for your career as a musician, marketing your band is a non-negotiable, necessary evil. That means having a social media presence, shooting music videos, waterfall releases, all the things artists hate to do. And I've heard lots of bitter people my age talk about the good old days when they didn't have to do any of this shit. And my response is, oh yeah, the good old days. You mean like mailing lists and street teams and staying up all night to burn 100 CDs to hand out for free at the gig just to have 87 of them end up on the venue floor at the end of the night? The fact is, the internet has made marketing your music so much easier than it used to be. You just have to put in the work. A great resource for this is Jesse Cannon. If you don't know who he is, he's a producer, mixer, artist manager, and he's also worked for record labels. Most importantly though, at least for today's discussion, he's a music marketing guru. Definitely check out his stuff, particularly his single release 60-day plan, his series 0 to 10,000 fans in 2025, and of course his book, Get More Fans. And for the record, I don't know him, I've never met him, I just know that he knows his shit. I'm not going to talk anymore about this one because he's going to say it way better. Go check him out, he's the dude. Number 5, songs that aren't great. The single most important thing you can do as an artist is to write a great song. Oliver Anthony recorded Rich Men North of Richmond by sticking a single microphone in a field while he sang and played guitar. Terrible recording, amazing song, 330 million streams. Some bands write great songs. Most bands write good songs. If you have 4 people in a room working on a piece of music, sometimes they just can't see the forest through the trees. This is why 90% of signed bands hire a producer when they go to record. I did a whole episode on this. I'll leave it in one of those banners up there, and I'll put it in the description as well. But this goes back to emulating what successful people do. You don't need a record deal to hire a producer. As a matter of fact, it's backwards. If getting signed is a goal of yours, hiring a producer is something you should seriously consider. If you find someone that understands your band and your vision and can bring out the best in you, that's only going to help. Of course, there's shady people out there that just want to run your card and rush you in and out of the studio. But if you do your due diligence, you can easily avoid these people. A good producer is going to work with you, not against you. They're going to open doors for your music, not put you in a box. It's my belief that an artist does their best work when their authentic sound shines through. And sometimes, bands need help with that. If you wanted to get in shape, you could start working out on your own, but I guarantee you'll see those abs a lot sooner if you hire a personal trainer. And yes, hiring a producer is an added expense, but once again, think about your goals. If you find the right professional, you'll be glad you made the investment. Number 6, poor sonic quality. We're in the age of DIY recording, a blessing and a curse. On the good side, it's a lot easier for people to get their ideas out of their heads and into a set of speakers, which is great. The more people being creative, the better. The drawback of this is that it's made a lot of people content to record and mix their own music, believing that it's good enough to release. Maybe it is good enough, but is that the reaction you want when people listen to your song? Whenever I go to a local show, I always check out the bands on Spotify. And there's been so many times that I saw a band that was awesome live, and then I stream their song, and I'm like, aw, man. And I never listened to it again. People like Oliver Anthony and Billie Eilish, they've recorded themselves, but they're anomalies. If you want people to add your song to their favorite playlist, it better sound great. And that means it's recorded well with a slamming mix and master. If you want to be a pro musician, your music better sound pro. And the best way to make sure that happens is to hire a pro. The best way to get great sound is to get it at the source. So hiring an engineer that can take you from tracking to mastering is the best way to make sure that you sound great. If you're dead set on self-recording and then sending your files out to be mixed, hit up a mix engineer whose work you admire. See if they'll mix your songs. You'll be blown away at the difference it makes. I think that's enough soapboxing for today. So remember, if you got goals that you want to achieve, bring it when you play live. Get out of your area code for some shows. Cut the dead weight if you have any. Make sure the world knows you exist. Write great songs, and make sure those great songs slam. Is it hard to achieve success playing music? Absolutely. Is it impossible? No. But effort alone isn't going to get you there. It's actually calculated effort that's going to move the needle. If you need help with number 5 or 6, go to riffhavenaudio.com. You can check out some of the music I've worked on. If that's the sound you're after, hit the Get Started button, answer a few questions, and I'll hit you up to talk about your project. That's it for this week. Keep grinding. Thanks for watching.